Roll, roll, roll your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Now we all know this nursery rhyme, but who knew it had more profound truth than most books, including the Bible? The nursery rhyme says, life is but a dream, meaning your life, my life, everybody's life is not real. Join us as we discover the difference between dreams and reality. This is Who Am I? Who am I?
Who am I?
Who? Our purpose is to awaken.
Who am I?
To awaken to absolute truth.
Am I?
Who am I?
Who?
Who?
Our purpose is to awaken to absolute truth.
Absolute.
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 Absolute truth.
Our purpose is to awaken. Are they one and the same? Absolute truth. That's our purpose.
Who am I?
Hello, class. I'm late. Okay, all right. Okay, great. All right. Okay. Well, okay, we got the latecomers, but we're all here, right?
Right.
All right, so we're here to ask some very important questions. Questions that usually don't get asked, all right? Because we feel that nothing is off limits. Now, you heard in the tease or the intro that we were using the nursery rhyme to get to something called, is this life real? Is this real or is this a dream? That's what we want to know, okay? And we are saying what is real has to conform to fact, to actuality. Now, if you talk to most religious people, they will say, God is real. I know you heard that many times. Have you, brothers and sisters? You know you have, all right? But if you say, now, what is God, which is really one of the most important questions one can ask, they may give you various different definitions, okay? So, one thing that we know is that there is truth. And that which is truth, because you got to have a foundation to stand on. And truth has to be your foundation. And what's absolutely true is that there is only presence. There can never be absence, all right? And presence is infinite. And what you find out is that most people resist the idea that God is infinite. You know why? Because that means now, what about me? If God is infinite, then what happens to Alan Carter or Barack Obama or any human being? So we want to say, what is your premise? And the premise has to be real and true. So now we have to ask, what else is there? Is there this something called a dream? I think the Buddhists have a way. Am I a caterpillar dreaming that I'm a man, or am I a man dreaming that I'm a caterpillar? You know, that's the question. Do you know what's real? Do your senses tell you what's real? Just because I can touch you, does that make you real? Well, in a dream, it seems like you're touching somebody. I won't ask you what your dreams are, okay? But, you know, your sensory input, your data from your senses, empirical data, will not tell you what's true. You can't rely upon the senses. And truth has to be 100% true. It can't be true sometime. It has to be 100%. Gloria.
So if you look at the Lord, what is the basis of God's identity versus human identity, then the only reality is God's identity.
God is the only reality. See, but now, like I was saying, what does that do for Gloria? What does that make Gloria?
Well, that God is finite. God is infinite.
Okay. All
And
right. So we say
unchanging or changeless.
Uh-huh.
All
Okay.
is.
Yeah, but what about Gloria?
Gloria is finite.
See,
And God infinity cannot include something that is not itself.
Right.
So there is no Gloria.
There's no Gloria like you think there is. Great.
Okay. I just want to give you a scenario last night. I had I rarely get 8 hours of sleep, but I got 8 hours of sleep last night. And between the dream state and the waking state, I don't remember dreaming, but I can remember that I'm in bed. I'm in a very peaceful place, very peaceful. No dialogue, anything. I'm peaceful. And all of a sudden, I'm laying there, and I feel that I witness in this space Greg, the character Greg, come alive.
Okay.
While I'm sitting there in this space, I witnessed all of a sudden a thought came to me and said, because I was gardening all day yesterday, your back hurt a little bit. Then all of a sudden I felt my body come into place. Then a thought came later on and said, well, you don't lay in bed this long, it's time to get up. Then all of a sudden it was time to get up. I started moving my fingers and everything. But prior to that, a witness witnessed all this prior to this. Now this witness that I'm saying that was witnessing Greg come alive, it wasn't Greg.
Right.
It was a witness.
Yes.
And
yes. Yeah, that's very important. Now, Greg is saying, y'all, okay, the psychologist says Greg is saying. Now, you might say, that what had he been drinking, smoking, or anything? No, see, this is why he's saying there is a distinction. There was the Greg who he's normally is used to, just like I'm normally think I'm Alan and, a black man in Georgia, yada, yada, yada. But he was having another experience, that there was the Greg, and then there was the observer of Greg, all right? And then you can even go back beyond that. Who is that beyond or behind the observer of the observer? See, that's why this question that we ask in this program, who am I? See, we ordinarily think this I that is a body mind in time and space is who I am. But Greg now is saying, hey, wait a minute, is that true? Is that real? Who is the real, wasn't there a TV show way back, John, called With a Real, Somebody Please Stand Up or something like that? I'm showing my age now, but anyway, but it's like, who is this I that defines everything that you say is real? Because everything is attached to an I. And I call I this mind body. Now, Greg is saying, is that really who I am? Greg, you have something else?
Just to add on to that what happened is that later on I experienced that, I got 2 little small dogs. After a while, before they even started barking or anything, mine told me that I needed to, get them and let them go outside and everything. I had already imagined their features and everything in my mind before I even did it, so it created them too. The same situation created the dogs. I started thinking about my friend who I was with yesterday. It thought about him. It created him too. So it was like I was witnessing these things going on more so than whether they was true or not. I was witnessing.
Yeah. See, again, we define God. You ask most people to define God, and they would say He's a creator. Okay, and even Genesis starts off with, in the beginning, God created. Okay. So we want to know now, as Greg is saying, who is this or what is this I that creates? Because, again, supposedly in Exodus, God called himself I. When supposed the burning bush thing, and Moses asked him, define yourself. He said, I am that I am. I is always present. I can never be absent. So who is this I? And this is, Greg is having some experiences that we may call out of the ordinary. All right. But still, there was an I present. There was an awareness that was present of something. And this is what you got to ask. What is this awareness? This that is aware of, or just is being aware? See, this is important. Bertice, you had your hand up.
Okay, maybe this can correlate to your question number 2. Did Jesus dream that he was a savior who had to die for our sins, or was that someone else's dream? Well, in my opinion, Jesus is not real. That's a brand of religion. Second, sin, there is no sin because I haven't done anything wrong because there's only one.
Okay. What you're saying, some people may have some difficulty with. See, I can only say there's only me. All right. Now it looks like there are 8 of you out there. Now, as Greg was saying to us, was that something that he was creating? Is that, I'm a psychologist, and there we know that there's, people can have what we call hallucinations. Okay, visual, all the senses can fool you. Okay, so yeah, are you all just mind hallucinations? Okay, or are you really something separate and apart from me? Now I know this conversation sounds a little weird to most people. All right, and I want to be able to say this conversation in a way that people can hear it. So because when you get into this conversation of what is real and what isn't real, people may, because they seem so solid, it seems so unquestionably true that what I call the data from my 5 senses are real. Now Jesus, you asking the question, Jesus was supposedly a man who lived 2,000 years ago. Well, see, that's premise on that time is real. All right, but if time is real, then what about now? Okay, see, we experienced life through a linear fashion. That was yesterday back then. Yesterday was Sunday, and tomorrow will be Tuesday, and next year will be 2017, and so forth. We experienced linear. What we call a time. Time is just an artificial measurement. What time is it on Mars? Okay, so it's just a convenient way of measuring our experiences, all right? So if Jesus lived 2,000 years ago, well, that reinforces this idea that time is real and that this experience I have called Alan Carter, who is time-based, all right, who grew up in Norman, Alabama, John, right? And who says that Norman, Alabama is 200 miles away from here. There's a space, a distance. Is space real? Is time real? And this is what the question that Einstein got into. Yeah, Leonard, and then Glory.
Well, when anyone watches the show, it starts out with, our purpose is to awaken.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you think about what are you awakening from, naturally we're going to come to the conclusion that it has to be a dream. And that little nursery song that we sang is, life is but a dream. So if you really go back to what a dream represents, it's something that's not true, but it has possibilities of being true. Wakeness is what is true. And then we go to sleep every night, and it seems like that's really the process of what we're going through, rowing our boat gently down the stream, and then we're going to come up to a point where we wake up and see that life was just a dream. Well, we just woke up. When you find the truth, then you see that life was just a dream.
Okay.
But where does that leave me? And that was what you said earlier. So I know it's hard to embrace the infinite when it appears that the finite doesn't fit into that equation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly what Gloria previous. How can the infinite? This is why we all religions. And again, I want to emphasize, we're not here to disrespect anybody's religion. Joan and I grew up in the Methodist Church, and then I became a Baptist, okay? And I appreciate, growing up in Lakeside, Joan, but, you got to keep well open to the, it looks like you can progress, okay? And asking questions. So, yes, we're not here to disrespect your religion. If you have some religion that gives you comfort or whatever you may derive from it, keep it. We're not here to convert anybody. We're just here to ask questions, okay? And so what Leonard is bringing up, and the rest of the people are bringing up, is, is this the dream? Or is this real? And what we know is real is that only infinity is. Now, deny that. How can you deny infinity? That which is. And is has no beginning or no ending. That's infinity. In other words, the present. Glory.
Well, I had 2 questions.
Okay.
In Greg's dream, or his story of his dream, he used the word witness. So is the witness Greg asleep, or is the witness the infinite I, the I that I am?
The infinite cannot witness anything. Okay, I mean,
nothing to
if it witnessed anything, then it wouldn't be infinite.
Exactly.
All right. So the infinite can only be infinite.
So who was being the witness?
It appeared that there was an idea that was separate from the Greg that he normally knows. Okay, and that's a good question, Gordon. It's like it appears that I am witnessing you, and so there's a subject which is separate from an object. Okay, and that's the way the human mind has to work. It has to say there's a separation between a this and a that. All right, there is a God somewhere up there or whatever who what created what a me or earth or whatever. So there were two. Everything the human mind has to have two: a witness and that which is being witnessed. Okay, but that denies infinity. So everything you think is blasphemy. I don't care if you are thinking of Jesus or Allah or whatever. It is now saying that that's finite and I am finite. Okay? Yeah, Bertice.
May I?
Okay, yeah, you should follow.
So my second question
Oh, yeah, too. Okay.
is life.
Okay.
And the little nursery rhyme, life is but a dream.
Uh-huh.
So life with a capital L is synonymous with infinite.
Yes.
Is synonymous with God.
Yes.
So that life cannot be a dream.
Yeah. Yeah, see, this is all. All and infinity are the same. So we think life is about, even the Bible, I think they say in Genesis, God blew the breath of life into Adam or something like that. There was a God who was finite and an Adam who was finite, and that life was, he gave life to Adam and so forth. This has to be your premise. Only infinity is. That means infinity is life. You ask scientists to define life, they really want to agree on it. Okay? I mean, you have organic and inorganic and so forth, animate and inanimate, but they can't agree on what life is. Okay? Just because it has movement? Well, your battery can make things move. You robots now move. And we said they're not alive. All right? So how do you define life? Well, everything has to be consistent with your premise. If your premise is false, you have a false conclusion. Your premise has to be absolute truth, and this is absolute. So where does that leave anything? All is all. That's it. God is God. Okay, Melissa, I want a new person to get a chance. You want to stand up and ask your question?
About the nursery rhyme, as I think about the nursery rhyme, and I'm thinking, it says, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream, that there is actually motion, and also that the stream is also mentioned. So you're definitely going somewhere, but the water is actually a sign of an element that can take you where are you going. It's saying that you're going somewhere, but it's a dream at the same time. So you have to decide where you're going. Are you going to the dream, or is life where you're going?
Yeah. We think life is about movement. Moving, that I will move, like I can move from here to here, okay? So I just went from there to here, and we think there's something called a here and a there, okay? Barack is in Washington, D.C., which is there, because we said we are here. And that here is the reference point, and the reference point is always me. And I use me as a body located in time and space as the reference point. But there's no time and space, then what's the reference point? Can infinity go anywhere? No. Okay? But it appears that, for instance, this conversation we are having right now, 20 years ago, in the illusion of time, I probably wouldn't have understood this conversation. Okay, so it appears I moved from 20 years where I was 20 years ago to where I'm having this type of conversation.
Closer to check.
Yeah, exactly. You could probably think when you were, 20 years ago, where you were, let's say, spiritually, okay, and where you are now, okay? So it appears and that you have made what we call progress. Or some people might not call it progress. That's a matter of opinion, I guess. Okay, but yeah, some people might say, that was regression or whatever. Right. But that's just somebody's opinion. But the point is, there appears to be change. Can truth change?
No.
No. Truth, 2 plus 2 is 4. It will never change. All right? So, if it changes, it's not true. So this is the dream. The dream is that we are progressing. That we are going, it appeared that Joan and I went to council training school. And then, I went to Morehouse, and then I went to Columbia. It appeared that I progressed through the educational system. Okay? But that's the dream. That's not true. Again, this is the only truth. All of this, and they're all synonymous, this is the only truth. Okay? Raphael and Dan Batiste.
Yeah, Dr. Carter, it appears that we are in two different wells. One of the well is the awakening, and that's when you bring the awareness, and that is where you can define as real. Because our layer of life lessons and growing and expanding, that awareness.
Okay. Yeah, it appears, I like that you used the word appears, okay, that, Jesus even supposedly said, how do you be in the world but not of the world, okay? So it appeared that he was saying that, like you were saying, that there appears to be two realities, okay? In the world, this what we call the material world, okay? And then there appeared to be what Jesus maybe was referring to was a spiritual world, okay? Because again, that the premise is that I. That's why you always got to come back to I. That this I that I think is Alan Carter, or that you think is Raphael, okay? And this once I say I think, I will think that I'm Alan Carter, a man in Atlanta, Georgia, and then this world would be consistent with all of that. So yes, it appears that we are trying to have this conversation to, as we state in the introduction, to awaken. Actually, there's never any awakening because there's never anybody went to sleep. Yes. Nobody ever left heaven. Oh, okay, heaven is infinite. Heaven is infinite. Right. All right, and infinity can never stop being infinite. Everything here is premise, is based, is founded on that infinity stop being infinite. Because I said I am Alan Carter, a finite being. Now that is blasphemy. That's adultery. That's pornography. Yes. Okay? So, yes, I mean, I know that may shock some of you. All right? But the point, though, is you have to have absolute truth as your foundation. And this is, can you deny that only infinity is? If you do, then you are in the dream. You're not dealing with reality. Okay? Yeah, Leonard again. I'm sorry, then Vertiz.
Yeah, you were. Go ahead, no, you first.
Go.
Okay.
That brings me to the question that you have down here, and I remember seeing it before. But anyway, it says something about could I die in my dream? Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what you keep saying. If infinity is omnipresent, it always exists. Even in my own dream, I've seen myself get shot, stabbed, all kinds of things, but I never died.
Right. Exactly. Okay. You can look. How would you know you're dead? All right. If you are dead, who's the one that's saying I'm dead? That would still continue to exist. So you can't die. That's what the Buddha discovered when supposedly when he woke up. The Buddha, Siddhartha, he said there is no death and no extinction of death. In other words, you were never born, you will never die. And that goes counter to everything that is premised here because of this thing, my identification as a body in time and space. That has to be questioned if you want to get the truth. Vertiz and then John.
Okay, I'll make this real quick. I've had that experience. I was just in the hospital like about 4 days ago, and I blacked out, and I woke up with IVs in my arm. So I felt as if that was death and resurrection right there. But back to my question, number 5. Did you dream up God, or did God dream you? The omnipotent dreamt me.
No.
Oh, I messed up in class.
No, you didn't mess up.
God.
Okay. God cannot dream. Okay?
Good.
All right. God is the only reality. All right. See, it appears. This gets to what Raphael was getting to about appears to be two worlds. Yes. Okay. Appears to be Alan Carter or Bertice having experience, and I can turn on CNN and watch Donald Trump. Or whatever, okay? 2 weeks, y'all, and it'll be all over.
Wait.
Yeah. But anyway, it appears that what I call these experiences that are premised on Alan Carter. And I always want to look out for Alan Carter, okay? I want to make Alan Carter's life better and with more pleasure and less pain, okay? But if Alan Carter is real, then God isn't. Alan Carter depends upon the absence of God. I repeat. Alan Carter or any human being basically says God ain't here, that he's somewhere where I'm not, okay? That's why we worship God, all right? If you really knew your true identity, then you don't worship, okay? So that's why, that's why when you create a God, and there have been, ever since man has been around, there's been gods, okay? Carl Jung said that, God is the primordial archetype. Man is going to have a gods, okay? And he will create these gods, usually in his own image. God, of course, if men are controlling society, God would be a man, all right? And the few societies where women control, God was a woman, okay? But, that's just what we call projection or anthropomorphic type stuff, all right? Has nothing to do with truth. The ego is just simply the thought that there's a separation from God. That's all the ego is. And it will fight you. That's why this is what we're saying now. A lot of people call this blasphemy. They'll turn this off, okay? Because they don't want their particular belief system, touched or any kind of way examined. They basically say, I've had all kinds of, man, I got to wind this up. I just saw the So we will, put a comma here, and we'll take up with this, continue with this conversation in the next show. And again, I invite you to ask the question: what is real? What is true? And this eye that says it's know what is real and true, question it. How does it know what's real and true? Do not give up your commitment to absolute truth. And absolute truth is, I am that I am. Thank you.